welcome to an exciting special episode of The Energy That Surrounds Us. I'm your host, Michael, and joined with my co host, Michelle.
Hey, everybody.
And tonight, I am bringing you guys a really cool guest. I met her at Fear Fest. She is gifted, she is an amazing person. So, without further ado, I give you Shannon Michele Collins.
Hello.
Hey, welcome.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
So, for those of who don't know Shannon Michele Collins, can you just tell a little bit about what you do?
Okay, sure. I am a paranormal investigator with Long Island Paranormal Investigators. I'm a medium in their group. I do automatic writing. So, what that is, I can channel a spirit and they can talk through me, basically, and I can write that out. So, what I did was I took writings from a spirit attachment that I had due to channeling a spirit and put it into a book of poetry. So it's all from the same spirit, and it's just telling her love story from basically what she told me.
Oh, wow.
I do that, and I do goth. I'm a goth model, and what else do I do? I do hair.
That's
So,
nice.
so you're like, your hands in all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Good
It's a
to
lot of
stay
fun.
busy.
What was that?
It's good to stay busy.
Yeah, definitely.
So, being an automatic writer, is that something you always did, or something that kind of just you started one day and was like, oh, didn't even realize I was doing this?
It's okay. So yeah, when I was younger, I had an instance where I was automatic writing in my car, not my car, my mom's car, on the window. I was talking to a spirit, and my sister and my cousin didn't realize that's what I was doing, so they were kind of making fun of me, and I pulled back from that, and then I started doing it again. So when I go out my group, this is kind of, I do a quick walkthrough because I don't know what the history of the places that we go to. I don't know anything about it. So I kind of just will jot down like little tidbits of what they tell me. Or sometimes I will get images. I am not an artist at all, but I'll try to draw the people
Nice.
that I see.
It's very detailed. It's good to be detailed.
I don't know.
Yeah,
You look like an artist to me. That's better than anything I could do.
I really can't know because then you have this. I mean, it's really...
That's good.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good for the.
Thank you.
Half of mine are stick figures. They're just like stick figures with an arrow that way or that way.
It's interesting, and I'll be honest, every time it's a little bit different. It's not the same every time, and I don't have to automatic write to pick up on things. It's just that's how I do it sometimes. It depends.
Do you find you do it whenever, like for me, when I do it, it's because there's so many coming through at the same time. You can kind of prioritize which one is saying what. Do you find yourself doing that? And then it's just one spirit or two. You can just kind of do it without it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do stuff like this, and this one was really cool because
1900s. Yeah.
Yeah, I was outside of the house, and they were all inside. So this is what I was picking up on from outside, what they were telling me. So this man, like when we walked in, there was a painting of this man, and I have the description of what he was wearing here, and it was the side profile of him, and then his wife was in this dress, but I didn't have her face. I had the dress.
Right.
So it's really, really, it's cool how it works. I don't know.
Isn't that
cool?
A headless one. You're like, they're talking to you and you can see their clothes, but you can't see their head. And you're like, why won't you show your head? You're going to show me your hands, your shoes, your shoelaces, your dress, but not your head.
Yeah. Sometimes names as well. Sometimes I I can't get a name for the life of me. And I'm like,
Yeah, names are
Uh,
hard.
well, but if you think about it, having the dress, you see a painting, you'll know instantly that's her because
Mm,
they didn't share outfits back then.
well, I don't know.
They had
I
hand-me-downs, so
yeah, I'm not sure. It was just interesting to me, what came along with that and what I picked up on with that. It was really cool.
yeah.
I definitely know that it's not me, that it's coming from spirit, you know what
Right.
I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
the messenger. But I'm grateful to be able to do that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It could also have been her favorite dress, and so that's why she was sharing it with you.
I mean, it looks pretty. I would like to
It is pretty.
borrow it.
Yeah, it's very nice. I like
It was
it.
nice.
And
Wishful thinking, maybe.
right. And it's neat to walk in and get that instant confirmation off of the painting. I know it's really hard for me. I'm sure for you when you can't. It's like you don't get the confirmation. It's such a
Right.
happy feeling that when you
Yeah.
can't, get it. So
Right, because you want to be able to give their messages and connect with them, and yeah, that one
So,
was fun because I showed, we had a very big skeptic in our group, so when I walked in and I was showing them what I was picking up on, I was actually nervous. He made me so nervous. He saw that, he's like, oh my god, he's like, come with me, let me show you. So he's actually the one that showed me, and he like freaked out. So that was a great moment.
oh, I bet. So, one of the reasons why I had you on as well, not besides you being you, but with the automatic writing, for a lot of people, they're always wondering how it works and how to build that ability up. So, what advice do you have for anyone who's thinking about getting into automatic writing and how to, or if they have it, how to build it up?
My advice personally is to definitely do it with someone who has a lot of experience first, because you're inviting something into your body to use it. You're not just, that's the thing, like your spirit is using your body as a tool to communicate. So you might let something in that you don't know if you can get rid
right.
of or whatever. In my instance, when I started channeling that one spirit, I did that by accident. I wasn't looking to channel the spirit, and I still have the attachment years later. That was in 2019 and changed my life drastically. So I would say think really hard about it. Make sure this is something that you're serious about. Do your research, and meditating a lot, and
Oh yeah.
automatic writing can be different for everyone. There's no exact way for that everyone does it. Everyone has to connect in their own way. It has to work for them. So for me, sometimes when I'm trying to connect, like, I start with a scribble, and that's kind of getting me into that meditative state. You want to maybe make sure that you're in all quiet, or have headphones on where you're in a high, listening to music where you're in a high vibration, where you can whatever, and just focus on that. But I would say a lot of meditation, and definitely do it under guidance at first. Have somebody kind of talk you through, and maybe do a guided meditation with you in person to see what you can pull out. That's
How long?
my advice. I'm not saying it's right, but that's my advice.
No, that's great advice because a lot of people would discount it just thinking this is just me doing something. And so it's great for them to realize that maybe it is something.
Right.
And Jenny Sullivan Sanasi from Ireland is asking, what was your first experience?
Oh boy. My first okay. I can tell you one that I remember. I'm sure I had one before that. My first experience with spirit, I guess, I was probably like around 7 years old, and I was sleeping, and when I woke up from a nightmare, I look over, it was like 4 something in the morning. There was a man coming down my hallway. He had come into my room, pulled blankets over my head. It was just a very gentle experience. I felt like it might have been a guide or something. It reminded me of my grandfather, but my grandfather was still alive. It wasn't him. It definitely was not dreaming. I still remember that clear to this day. That was my first that I remember with spirit. And I guess my first automatic writing that I remember was that time in the vehicle when we were going to Dorney Park. It's a place in Pennsylvania. It's an amusement park. And it was like a family trip. We were in one of those big vans, and I don't remember much. I just remember that we were on the road and there was a woman there that had died, and she was just talking to me, and I was just, whatever she was saying was coming,
Mm-hmm.
through
No,
my
I have to say it's really cool that you would be open enough to not as a kid, go, oh, I don't know what's going on, and be like, no, that you were open and receptive to it and started just going, okay, this is what she's saying. Let me write it, because I'm imagining she probably used words that you had never heard of.
It was just a very weird experience, and I don't know why I never really would the only time I think I would get nervous is if I felt their energy was uncomfortable to me, but I always felt like that, wanting to help. And it's weird because even as a small child, my mom would even say, normal people would come up to me and they would feel safe around me being a small child. Adults would tell me their life problems or whatever, and it was just always, so I don't know if that's just who I am. I want to comfort. I look scary. I look mean. I have major resting. I don't know if I could say that. I have that face, but I am very caring. I'm very extremely sensitive. And so I think that I felt that they needed someone or something. It just felt normal to me. It was something that it didn't feel like, oh, this is, I guess if it just happened overnight, it might scare me, but it was something that I've had forever. It's just something that I don't remember from an early age, just because I have a lot of memories after everything that happened to me anyway. It's
right.
Right. No, I totally understand. And Jenny is also asking, as a beautiful woman in the paranormal field, and it's taken a long time for women to be accepted in this field, do you feel that your looks would make people think that you're not serious? And if they do, what would you say to them?
I actually really appreciate that question, and thank you, I think, for the compliment. So yes, I guess. I've had good and bad experiences, and I don't think it. Can you put that question back up there for a second, actually? So I feel my looks would make people think. So I don't think it's so much my looks. I think it's just that my story of what happened to me seems so unbelievable that I think that if other people had told me this, I might be a little, but I've learned to be more open-minded about it. I don't see myself that way because just 2 years ago, I was almost 200 pounds. So I'm not sure. I have had both amazing and not so amazing experiences. I don't think it would be so much people in the paranormal field that would feel that way about it, but maybe some people outside of it, just that they might just think I'm a ditz.
Well, we happen to know Jenny and where she's coming from. She's been in it for a long time, 10 plus years. So she really was groundbreaking for a lot of us in her efforts to get out there. So as a beautiful woman, she's just wondering, do you feel like you have prejudice against you, or people treat you differently, or think that you're not quite as up to like the male counterparts, because I know I get some pretty nasty stuff in my DMs. I'm sure you do too. We have to siphon and be so careful. That's kind of what she's asking. If you think that the beauty changes their minds.
I have to be honest, because I have been doing this for 13 years in my group, almost 13 years with my group. And it was before I lost all of my weight and stuff that I think I was treated more poorly than I am now. I haven't really gotten to, most people have been pretty respectful. I get a few people that curse me out that I don't know, that just randomly curse me out or will send the icky things.
Oh yeah.
That's just, but that hasn't, luckily, I don't think that has really been my experience. I don't feel, I have had a group that has been so supportive that I guess if that were to happen, they kind of blocked us from that so that we didn't feel that way. We have a great mixture of men and women in our group. And when we do events and stuff like that, everybody's always included and stuff. So I've luckily not had too much of that experience. I've had nastiness. I've had people talk down to me like I'm stupid, but I don't know if that's just a paranormal thing or if that's just a woman, you know.
It's a great answer. Thank you.
Sorry, it's a long one.
Oh, it's fine.
No, I appreciate it. And I'm kind of curious, and I don't know. It's kind of like a double-edged sword kind of question, but so I'm curious, one, why you would choose to leave the attachment attached to you, and two, do you feel like it protects you and helps you?
So that's actually two really good questions. Initially when this first happened, I did try to remove the attachment from me. And every time I tried to remove it, it kind of latched on a little bit more. Then we got really kind of deep into COVID, and I kind of got stuck, isolated, wound up getting COVID, you know, all the things. And I think during that time, I was literally just by myself, just me, and I just was like with this thing. Somehow we work well together right now. I don't know how, I don't know why. Sometimes I feel like I'm crazy and I'm like, do I even have one? But then I have other people that are sensitive that come up to me and they're like, I don't tell them anything. And they come up to me and they're like, girl, whoa. So it makes me feel a little bit less crazy. Do I feel like it protects me? Yes. Before I was kind of a pushover and stuff like that. I feel like it gave me a little bit more of an edge. I stand up for myself a little bit more. It protects me, I think, from other negative spirits. But I'm not sure. I feel like sometimes it closes me off to things because it's a little selfish. Doesn't want to share, you know?
Right.
But
so
Well,
you just
that could be a good thing.
Is it a male or a female attachment?
female.
Oh, that's good. At least you're
It's
not
a female energy.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So Jenny has a comment for you. She says, women need to be known for their amazing work in the paranormal. We deal with a lot, and our work is second to none. And Shannon, thank you.
Thank you, Jenny, and thank you for your contributions to the paranormal as well. 10 years or 10 plus years is a long time to dedicate to the field.
She is the founder of, I want to say this right, Emerald Isle Paranormal Researchers.
Female founder. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Jenny,
that's supposed
what
to be
show
a heart.
was this on? Her show was released overseas tonight. I can never remember that. It's like a haunted Ireland or something like that.
Spooky Ireland, I think.
Huh?
I think, is it called Spooky Ireland or something?
I don't know. Jenny, if you're still on there, because it's like 2:00 over there in Ireland right now.
In the morning?
Yeah, they're about 6 hours ahead of us.
Wow.
Yeah. she'll have to correct it, but it'll be in the U.S. There you go.
Oh,
Spooked.
Spooked Ireland.
Yeah.
We were both close.
Yeah, I was wrong on it. Sorry, Jenny. I'm sorry. I tried. She says I'm up. Okay. We're glad.
She's a night owl, and we appreciate when she comes on and all that she does. She is
It's amazing.
an amazing paranormal investigator, and she's also a dog groomer, which is really cool.
Cool.
She rescues animals too and finds them new homes.
I love that.
She does a lot. Good mom. She's a great mom, which is the most important job, and she's the best at it.
That's great. We love Jenny.
Yes, we love Jenny.
That's
Jenny, my Jenny.
Yeah. Hopefully one day we'll get her on the show, but it's hard when it's wee hours of the morning over there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That could be difficult, for sure.
So I'm kind of curious, Shannon. You talk about being a goth model. Did that come along with the paranormal, or did the paranormal start and then somebody said, hey, you know, what do you think about this? And or was it vice versa, the modeling first and then the paranormal?
It was paranormal first. Then I did my book, and I did a photo shoot for my book, and then that kind of just took off after that.
I actually think I might be part of that Long Island paranormal thing. I got a friend request a while back, and I think I might actually follow you guys.
Oh, cool.
I think so.
There is a Long Island that's got Courtney Peterson in it. So I'm not sure if that's the one you're a part of. But that's the one that I followed, and I thought, oh, I follow Shannon's team, and then I realized, wait, I think this is a different team.
Yeah, there's
I have to look. But how many are there? I mean, that's a kind of a.
I mean, there's not like too many.
Yeah, actually named Long Island. That seems kind of specific. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll have to look.
Paranormal
I'll say hi.
Investigator. Thanks. I love that.
So what's your favorite thing about the goth modeling? Because I can tell you, looking at the photos you share, you look the part. It's like your expression, everything goes along with whatever scene you're photographing.
I love the clothes. I like the Victorian Gothic vibe. I dress like that to go to the post office and stuff, so I'm very comfortable in the clothes. So maybe that's why when I take the pictures, it just looks more natural.
Right, you're not in character; you're just as you are.
Yeah, and it's funny because I do a lot of conventions, and then people will ask me, "Oh, what character are you, or who you cosplaying?" And I'm just like, me. Just me. I don't know. People think I'm a weirdo, but it's okay. Because I am.
That's a good question.
Wow, Jenny's on fire tonight. Sorry, Jenny. I didn't mean to. My brain's a little scattered. It's been a long day. So, Shannon, if you had 3 top places to investigate, where and why?
Okay. I feel like I get asked this question a lot, and I feel like my answers always change.
That's a good thing. They should change.
It does change. So top 3 places of where to investigate and why. So I would love to investigate over in like the old castles in Ireland and stuff like that. My family line comes from Ireland. I'm only the 2nd generation here from there, so I think it would be really cool to just go back to my family roots and see, like, I don't know. I just always wanted to go there, so I feel like there's so much history, and it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, who doesn't want to go to Ireland? But
Like,
fun fact is, Jenny investigates Leap Castle in Ireland. So there you go.
I just love that. Very cool. And so I think also, and then England as well, and all those places over there. I feel everywhere else, everywhere in history.
Any
It's
favorite
good to
that
have
you've already done?
international
Top
and
3.
domestic.
I think investigating like the pyramids would be really, really cool. I want to give you actual answers. Let's see where else. Also because of the history.
Right.
Pyramids are amazing. I actually got to go there.
Yeah, you did?
I did. I got to go in the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid.
Did you investigate or you were on like a tour?
I was on a spiritual adventure with a friend of mine and some other people that I had met, and we got to go in the, I don't know what you call it, but it's, I guess, sarcophagus that holds the mummy's tomb. So we got to lay in the sarcophagus that's in there.
You laid in it?
Yes, I did.
That's brave. I'd love that. I would love that. Just close me in. Call it a night.
Call it a night.
Leave me a digital recorder. Close me in there. Just give me an air hole. Straw.
Yeah. No.
I don't know. I can't think of anywhere else. I guess someplace here. Where would I like to investigate here? There's that like creepy clown motel that's across from like
Vegas.
that cemetery. I don't know. I'm just so afraid of clowns. I think that would just scare me alone. I think that would be an experience in itself.
Yeah.
I don't like anything scary. Nothing scary. No clowns, no dolls. Jenny has a doll at her house right now, and I told her to burn it in sage, and she won't burn it. She's taking it to its sibling, and it needs to go away. It needs to go away. No. So where else? The clown place, and then where else would you do? What have you done? Like, what are the places that you've done that you really enjoyed?
Oh gosh, a lot. The Thomas Halsey Homestead, which is where I got my attachment. That's my favorite place ever. It feels like a home away from home.
Kind of is. You got your attachment there.
That's my favorite place. I missed that one. What else? Trans Allegheny was quiet for me. Penhurst, the first time I went was really, really interesting. The second time I went, it was more quiet. And that's the thing. It's like hit or miss. You could go to the like most historically haunted, whatever. It doesn't mean that you're going to have an experience there. Time is not right.
Yeah. Do you find that a lot when people are like, oh, do this for me. Like we can just do it instantly. It's like we're not a trick pony. We don't push a button and we can tell you your fortune. It comes to us when they want it to come to us or when we ask it to, and not all the time when we ask it.
Right. And the whole enough with the lotto crap. It's not funny. It's played out. And if you think that I could get the lotto, I would not be living in my mother's basement on Long Island.
Yeah.
My poor mom.
And, I married this person. I'm like, do you want to marry that person? I do sometimes hate it though when I'm like, I know that they're like the other person's cheating or something, and I'm like, I didn't hear you thinking that. I did not feel that. Oh, I hate that. I'm just like, just get me out of here.
Turn that part off. Sorry, I got really close to the camera there for a second.
No, you're fine. Jenny's wanted to know, do you believe that a newly built building could have activity?
Good question.
Yes. Because it has nothing to do with the building. It could have something to do with the property or something like that.
Valid.
Or even the builder.
The builder, you don't know what intentions were put in.
That's true. Or what's in the wall.
What were they summoning up at lunchtime?
What were they mixing in that concrete?
Yeah,
You never know. You could have Jimmy Hoffa in your
No.
foundation.
You just don't
Long
know.
Island too.
I do.
Who knows what's in your concrete? I was walking down Brooklyn. I was in Brooklyn. I was walking down some street on vacation. I'm like, oh, I wanted to like skip whole sections because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, ew,
Yeah.
ew.
Definitely. So it's rough out there sometimes.
So I know you probably get asked this a lot, and the answer seems obvious, but to some, they may not think about it. Do you find, like, before, during, and after, like, say, the hurricanes that come through, does the paranormal ramp up and become really more, like, talkative to you and saying, hey, you need to get me out of here kind of attitude? Or does it kind of stay the same?
I feel like the energy does amp up, and I think that it kind of goes along with that whole like that static energy theory that that they can amplify off of that, and that's what a storm really is, a bunch of like that static. And okay, science people, don't yell at me. I'm not a science people, so I am trying here, okay? But I feel
What science people are yelling at you?
okay, calm down. But no, I do feel like it can. Do I get more people coming to me asking me help? No. I mean, sorry, no, that doesn't happen that way. I just feel like the energy is, so I might be able to connect maybe a little bit quicker, easier to more than just whatever, because the energy is at a different level. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does, and the only reason I mentioned asking help is because I didn't know if the spirits, like the hurricane energy coming through affects them, and so, I don't know if they get afraid too of, am I going to still be here when this passes through?
Right. I think that if anything, it would just again go off that theory of the static energy and that stuff like that would kind of just give them more of an energy to be able to work with and to communicate with. I'm sure maybe for some it's a little scary, but we're thinking that we're also going to the other side with our human emotions and human thoughts. But I'm sure that is in some ways true, but in other ways I feel like there's another whole level of consciousness that we come into, so I don't think that would be a fear. Like, I think maybe I'd be more afraid of the vacuum sucking me up. Get it? That's a joke.
Yeah.
I tried to make a joke. I don't know.
No, I like
Bad
that one
joke.
because it's kind of a little Ghostbuster-esque.
Yeah, it's a bad joke. I'm good at that. I'm like the joke killer. That's my job.
No, you did a good joke. That was funny. I liked it.
Thanks.
So Jenny's asking, if you could investigate with anyone, who would it be and why?
It would be you, Jenny, because you're just so badass.
Absolutely.
I kind of like you. So I think you're pretty cool.
She is cool.
I would love to. So I feel like I would love to also investigate with my dad. My dad was someone who really got me into the paranormal. He passed away in 2012. We never really got the opportunity to investigate together. I had just joined my group not too long before that, and I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. And our condolences to you for the passing of your dad.
Oh,
Yeah, we
that's
know
okay.
that pain. Michael's dad and my dad died within the last 2 years, so
I'm so sorry. Yeah, my dad. It's been a while, and I feel like he's.
I feel like he does go on adventures with you.
I don't know. My dad's gone. We felt him fly out of the room. It was like a slingshot, and he's gone. He came back one time to tell my mother he wished he'd been more spiritual, and she started going back to church, and she's made a bunch of little friends and stuff at church, but Dad's gone. So
I'm glad that she's able to get out there and have something positive come from it.
Yeah.
I'd love to come to Ireland.
I know. It's like the land of so many mysteries and legends and lore.
Yeah, the folk. I want some folk art. I love folk art. I want to grab
Oh,
some folk art
yeah.
from.
I thought you were referring to the other folk that live in Ireland.
No, I'll leave those folk alone. They can stay in their trees and their grass and their yeah. Yeah, we'll leave everything that's supposed to be there. Hopefully. I hope I don't come home with a sprite or a fairy in my bag. But I do know who to call if I have one. So it's a good
Call
thing about
Jenny.
being in our world is we always know somebody that knows how to handle something. So
That's true.
Yeah, that is.
That is true.
the fairies, yes, Jenny. The fairies. I love the fairies.
So my question to you, Shannon, is with being able to to automatic write and everything. Is there one place or maybe two places that you've heard of and you're like, oh man, the claims that are there, I so want to go and automatic write and see, are these real or is this hyped up?
I have to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever thought, hey, I have to go here and automatic write.
Really?
I
I daydream
think I've
about Skinwalker. What about Skinwalker Ranch?
No.
No, you don't want to go to Skinwalker Ranch?
I would, but I don't want to automatic write there.
Oh, I do. I want to do
Oh yeah,
I want
no.
to do 20 miles, 15 miles, 10 miles, 5 miles on their homestead. Yeah, I want to like see how far cuz it just oozes power like everywhere on that place.
I would like to feel things and go and like do my whole like whatever. And then should I automatic write at the location, then I will. I think I can't think off the top of my head any place that I would just be like, right. I don't know why. I'm sure there are places that I would feel. I know when this is over, I'm gonna have a list of
You're gonna
20.
be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's just the way it's working out right now. I just can't think off the top
Yeah,
of my head.
well, not to put you on the spot again, but Jenny's got a question with a twist for you.
She loves Jenny. Don't apologize. She says she
No,
loves
I'm not. I'm not making an apology for it. I'm just saying that there's a twist in it, so we make sure we read it right.
Okay.
She says, "I'm full of questions tonight, but Shannon, is there a cryptid that you don't believe in?"
So I feel like a lot of cryptids are very hard to believe in. However, it comes from somewhere, right? So I find it hard to not believe. And I think that especially after going through again what I went through, it being such an unbelievable thing, that it's opened me up to believing other things more. So I'd like to have an open mind. Thinking I am on Long Island and I've never seen a chupa. Is that what we have here?
Chupacabra?
I think that's what we
I know
had
those
off.
are around
Or the
us.
Montauk
Yeah,
monster
we have
thingy.
chupacabras a lot. Yeah, Nessie.
Montauk monster.
I don't know.
Oh, you
I
don't
don't
want
know.
to
It
see
was
that.
something like that. It was something that washed up, and I think that it was just like an animal, but I don't believe that it's not unheard of. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
I believe in the cryptid.
The one I think that's closest to you that probably you could say you have a higher chance would be is the Jersey Devil.
No thanks. See, cryptids freak me out. Like cryptids freak me out. Aliens freak me out. Like that stuff freaks me out. Like ghosts, I'm used to those. I've dealt with them since I can, it's just like having like a brother or a sister. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Yeah.
like,
right.
I get it.
Like if a Bigfoot, like I go camping a lot. If a Bigfoot wants to come and like just rip me up, okay. Like, how do I get away from that?
I like how your instinct is he wants to rip me up, and he doesn't want to come and chill and sit
Yeah.
by the
Why
fire,
would Bigfoot want to chill
share
with me?
stories.
What if they're just mountain men that never, I know a lot of hairy men. I particularly like
But
hairy men. And what if they're just some dudes that were like up in the mountains and they never got educations and they just there are people born
they
that
could
are covered in
be.
hair.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
they've
I'm
got it over
so
their
annoyed.
eyes and everything else. So how do we know that's not just them? And they're like mountain people that never come down the mountain.
They very well could be, and I feel like I would be way too much for them, and they would rip me up. Like, I'm annoying.
I feel like I'd be like, "You want a s'mores? I got some Dr. Pepper."
They'd be like, "Shut it up, shut it up."
You'd be like, "You want a T-shirt or some pants?" Maybe.
I'm picturing Bigfoot walking into the campfire and Shannon's there in her goth outfit, and he's probably gonna be like, "No, I don't feel like dealing with a vampire tonight. See ya."
When I scare Bigfoot.
Somebody have to tell me, "Hey, that's Bigfoot. That's not like Joe Blow from the mountains." I'm like, "I don't care. Here, you want s'mores? How about it? Just take some food. Stoke the fire while you're over there."
I wanna believe. I feel like Mulder. I wanna
Which
believe.
is funny because he was all about aliens, and you're like, no.
I want to believe.
Yeah.
I want to believe in the cryptids.
Well, why not? I mean, why not? Right?
I do.
If they can be spiders with skeleton shapes on its back that are teeny tiny, then why not a tall man that's covered in fur that hates to talk to humans? I know a lot of those. I know two in Fort Worth. If you saw them out in the woods with no clothes on, you'd be like, "That's a Bigfoot." It's just like, maybe.
I got that image in my head.
You're welcome.
Ugh.
I feel like I have to have a level of. I can't just say no, it doesn't exist because it's not been proven that it does not exist.
Right.
So, so far there's been more leaning towards it does than it doesn't.
Yeah, there is another cryptid that we have in common, actually.
Who?
The Dog Man.
Oh, I thought you meant Elliot. Just kidding. I always call my friend Elliot a cryptid, so if he's watching, that was for him. The Dog Man?
I don't know anything about the Dog Man. I don't know anything. So
it's a dog-like creature that walks on two legs, and it can outrun a car or chase you for miles. And yeah, it's and I did research on it, and there are claims of it in the daytime. There are claims of it at night. There are claims in the wee hour of the morning, in the heat of the summer, in the cold of winter. So it's like there is no time that a dog man can appear.
Well, it's really funny that you bring this up because we were talking about this one night. Our group has 2 different meetings. It was an online group meeting that we had that night, and they were talking about the Dog Man, and then I made one up. I called it the Selden Skunk Man or something because my town is Selden, and I made up this whole story like every 50 years this thing and you smell it before you see this whole thing. And then it just so happened that the following week our group was investigating in that town. So this is all a prank, by the way. I don't normally make stuff up. So when we were investigating in the town, they had me by myself in the woods in the beginning. And then the guy was like, "Oh, I'm going to turn off my phone." And I'm like, "But I'm by myself." So I scared the Nikes out of them. And it was based on the Selden skunk thing. And then obviously I told them that it wasn't true. But they thought I was like a zombie on the drugs.
Oh, gotcha.
More than
nice.
But anyway, it was a funny story, and I wish I had the audio to show you because it was fantastic. I love a good prank.
No,
Do you guys ever prank your group when you're
Never.
investigating? Never?
Oh yeah.
I think it's funny.
You
We do
gotta have
trips, so we have some downtime stuff. Like when we're serious in investigation, we're serious but you have to have some jokes to break up the night, some little boop,
Yeah. I mean, if you can't have fun with it, you're in the wrong field because you'll go nuts.
I don't know. I mean, during an investigation, even like doing footage and all that stuff, it's pretty serious for my people. But I also get very tired. Like after I do a reading, I'm just like want food and bed. Like I don't even make it past the car sometimes. I'm just like in the car somewhere.
We have different types of investigations. We do like urban myth and legend investigations, and those are just like quick little investigations, like Thursday nights, just to get you like a taste of something. And then we do like the same locations, like constant, you know. And then we'll do like bigger investigations. So when we're working with a client, we wouldn't do something like a prank or anything like that.
Right.
But sometimes when it's just us, especially because the founder of our group can be so serious sometimes, it's nice to just break that up a little bit. And sometimes I feel like it gives a different energy. It can kind of amplify things to happen.
Yeah. So, funny story about that is when I first started investigating, I was treating it like a job, being professional, straight laced, no jokes, no nothing. I took it so serious. I was feeling nothing. I was be going into location, going, there's nothing here. This is dead. What am I doing? And then I saw the Tennessee Race Chasers on their Haunted Live where they pranked the new member in the shower, and they started laughing, and I was like, man, if they can do that on TV, why can't I do that during investigations? And when I started having more fun with the investigations, I got more activity and more. I started getting Class A EVPs, seeing apparitions, orbs floating around. I was like,
sometimes they like jump into the conversation more. They'll jump in like with the jokes. Sometimes they make fun of us.
Yeah, I feel like they want to have the fun because I mean, shoot, it's kind of dismal looking at the same walls or the same things all the time, and it's like, yeah, I could use a little laughter.
Yeah.
Jenny says investigations can be serious, but you got to have some form of normal on it. At times, the spirits love it as it's normal. Very true.
True story. True story.
So you mentioned urban myths and legend investigations. So what's your favorite urban myth in your area that you like to investigate?
So there's Mount Misery Road by us. Supposedly there's a woman that haunts the area, and potential demonic activity and blah blah blah. That's probably my favorite place to investigate because I've seen it at its somewhat peak moments, and I've seen it when there's like nothing going on, and I kind of enjoy that because it kind of just validates when crap goes down, like wow, like that really went down. Like that place is cool. We've actually gotten a lot of different types of evidence there. And then we also have by us Lake Ronkonkoma. And the legend is that there's a few different stories that go along with it. But there was a Native American woman who fell in love, and something happened, and she wound up going out to the sea, and then out to the lake, and dying. And then she every year a male will drown in the lake. So, and that does, you can look it up, it actually does happen for the most. I don't think it happened this year, but usually it's a male. And then there was even one year where there was some younger males drowning, another male went in to save them, he saved them, and then he drowned. So it's like creepy. So I do enjoy investigating that. Is there something wrong with me? Like, no, I'm talking to like-minded people, so I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, you're on the right show.
So far, I have heard nothing that I'd be like, this girl needs to be locked up for.
I'm hearing it come out of my mouth. I'm like,
I mean, honestly, if we act the norms anyway, they would lock us all up anyway. I mean, if they had something to do about it, but they don't.
Yeah.
So we're all
No,
safe.
actually, I've been starting to lean in as you're telling the stories because I'm like, I want to go. It's like I want to go in the screen so I can go.
It's really cool. We have some really cool legends on the island. There's a lot. And then we have areas where the Culper spy ring with George Washington with the spies took place during the American Revolution and stuff like that. So
Do you study that at all?
Mhm.
So do you feel like I'm not sure everybody watched this, but the Washington spies about it. What do you think that was accurate? Where they had her as one of the spy ring members, and
that was accurate. She was one of the spy ring members. It was mostly accurate. The things that were not accurate was the cabbage. It was actually potatoes that he had issue with farming, we found out. Or vice versa, if he had, it was either one or the other.
no, he was growing cabbages. He was trying to.
Yeah, it was
And
potatoes,
I guess potatoes just doesn't look so glamorous.
That's the thing. They wanted to be able to show like when he pulled it up and it wasn't good, So
Right.
certain things like that. There's we actually did a walking tour around the area where they compared from the TV show to that, and it was, for the most part, there was a lot of accuracies. I went to her house from where I couldn't go to her house, but I went to their area where you could see where she would have hung like the petticoats to let them know like when the British were whatever.
When the messages were ready to be picked up.
You could see like, so his house is right across the way, so that's accurate. It just doesn't look exactly the same. The church looked similar.
That's really cool.
He's buried at the church.
Yeah, that's cool though that it's like mostly accurate because
his relationship with his dad, that's not accurate for the show. Those things, the love things, the whatever, that, throw all that out the window. That's all for drama, but the actual facts of whatever, the other thing, it really, they had people doing things that wouldn't have done it, but that was just, again, for drama.
Right. So go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, we have that, and then we have like Raynham Hall, and I believe that's in Oyster Bay, and that's another connection to that. And they actually have a pane of glass where one of the I can't remember which one it was, so I don't want to say who because I'd be lying, but they wrote on the pane of glass a love note to the girl that lived there.
Aww.
Sweet.
It was really cute. It was one of the bigger name people, Townsend, maybe, I don't know. So that's your history lesson, folks.
Good history lesson.
Yeah. And let it be known that this is one of the rare moments that you can actually go to Hollywood and say thank you for sharing history with us.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's cool to be able to walk around that area and kind of like step back in time. And I think that's so cool. Like when we get those EVPs, like it's like, holy crap. Are we talking to, what are you doing? What are you eating? Tell me.
That brings up an interesting question because a lot of people always ask, why are all the EVPs in English? And, that's an interesting question because the English of the 1770s would be very different from the English we speak. And it's like, how are all of our EVPs in our English?
I don't know.
They adapted. they hear what we say. You don't think they have adaptation capabilities, Michael?
Well, I don't know, but it raises an interesting question because it's like, how can we determine really what time frame we're talking to when it's all sounds the same?
But it doesn't always.
No.
There's tone, there's ways that it's said, there's like pronunciations of it. And also I feel like there's not always just English. We've gotten some other languages and stuff like that. It's just I don't necessarily know which language it is or what the hell it's, but it's a word or a name.
Korean dialect come through where you just know it's like Asian descent, and I've had Indian for sure. Indians, like American Indians, I've heard that, the tones and the sharpness and so
Jenny's back with another cool question. Do you use equipment, and if you do, what's your go-to?
My group has a buttload of equipment. I like to keep it basic. Give me a digital recorder, give me a camera, and maybe a digital EMF. I don't know. It depends on the week. It depends on the location, but we don't always use the same equipment every time. It switches up. So like sometimes I could have like a regular digital camera. Another time I could have a full spectrum camera. I enjoy a full spectrum over a regular digital. I don't know.
You're doing just fine.
Audio, full spectrum camera, my go-to. Final answer.
There you go. You won the prize. I like Jenny's answer to this about why we hear the languages. She says, I was going to say your language and your ear will hear what you know. They've had French and Irish. And so, so it's our filters is what we hear. And that's why it's always, that's a good point. So, maybe that's why. She was to say, why do you feel something at all locations get the same equipment?
Why do you feel not all locations get the same equipment?
So in our group, I don't get the same equipment at every location. We have a group of, I think right now we have like 35 members, maybe 15.
Oh, wow.
7 to 15.
At one investigation?
No. Maybe 7 to 15 will show up on a Thursday night. If that happens, we would break down into smaller groups. Sometimes we'll go to 2 separate locations. So the equipment will get split amongst the group. And so we make sure that we always take out an EMF, a Geiger, temperature, a camera, an audio, and something else. Just to cover kind of a radio frequency, just to cover all bases, right? So then somebody, say there's like 3 people in a smaller group, right? Each of those people will have either 2 people will have audio, 2 people will have a camera, and then like somebody will have EMF, somebody will have a Geiger counter, somebody will have, whatever. Somebody might have full spectrum camera, somebody might have black and white. And because the reason we do that is because if I get an EVP, I can go to Johnny. We don't even have a Johnny in our group, but I could go to Johnny and say, hey, Johnny, go back to around this time. Here's what I said, blah, 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 blah. Did you get anything? 9 times out of 10, there's nothing on that other audio. Then we can say, okay, for sure, that's an EVP. If there's something on the other audio, we might say, Occam's razor. It might not have been paranormal. Maybe we didn't mark it. If it's very obviously paranormal, then it's cool that we picked it up with more than one piece of equipment. Full spectrum camera, black and white, same concept. We could take a picture in the same spot. I might get something, the other person may not. So we try to cover our bases. So every time we go, I don't use the same equipment because we want to learn and be knowledgeable on all the various types of equipment that we have. And because we have so much, it kind of bounces around. So we tend to use it like 2 or 3 times. We get certified on the equipment within our group. That's for our group only, just so that we know where we're at. And so that we can then move on to another piece of equipment, so that when we're out in the field, or we do a lot of public investigations to raise funds for historic locations, so that we know what we're talking about when it comes to the equipment, and we can give proper education to other people when they come in.
No, that's
Oh
cool.
my God.
Good.
And so
That was a lot.
I'm kind of wondering, before I get to your question, Jenny, when you're doing your writing, have you ever like written something and like say the word hope, and then somebody goes, "Hey, my device just said hope."
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Actually, I do want to shout out. I have my friend Bianca Rose, medium Bianca Rose. She is in our group. She's also an automatic writer and channeler, and this is the same with her. We just had that happen the other day. She said something, and then it came out on like a PSB7 or something like that. So that was pretty cool. So that does happen. I've written it and had it come out. I've said to I've been telling my impressions to people in the group, like not whispering it, but talking quietly to them, and then you'll hear like an EVP of a spirit backing me up or saying what I said. So that's pretty cool too.
That's cool. So Jenny's saying, do you write your times, dates, people, locations, so that all can be accounted for when going over audio?
Our group, our founder is very, very, this is his life. And so it's his life's work. So he has everything documented for the last 20 years that he's done the group. So he could tell you his first investigation, who was there and what equipment they used, what the weather was, etc. So every time we go out, we have what we call the field report. That's the date, the location, the case number, which is the amount of times that we've been there. So whatever time that is that we're there, it goes over whatever the weather is. So moon phases, temperature, dew point, all that. The list of equipment that we use, the readings when we come back, and if we had any paranormal activity or not. Then when we go over evidence, that gets filled into those reports. Those reports are then transferred into a computer system database, and from there he has a tracker. So I thought it was 20 investigations. I lied, it's 40. So we go to a location 40 times. We have a list of equipment we use, and we have like personal experiences. So from there, whatever gets hits goes on that, and then it actually shows a graph and gives a percentage of paranormal activity at a specific location.
Wow, that's really cool.
He's kind of brilliant when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, Jenny says, I get it, weather, etc.
Yeah. I talk a lot. Just shut me out. You could talk over me and tell me to shut up if it's too much. It's fine.
Never. You're the guest.
It's okay. You can tell me to shut up. It's good.
So, obviously, you guys will repeat locations and everything. Are there some times that you'll be like on location and, like you were saying, you split into different groups and you're like, I know I'm supposed to be over in this group over here, but I'm being drawn to this one over there. Can you jump over to the other group, or they want you to stay put with the group that you're with?
We have partnered up with other groups if we had mutual experiences happening, but for the most part, we're at outside locations. We'll be pretty far away from each other so that we're not contaminating each other's evidence and stuff. We'll have walkie-talkies to communicate with each other. I mean, that's pretty the only contamination that we'll get, other than if there's other people, normies out.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Normies. So
mentioning the walkie-talkies, have you ever had during EVP session or something, the walkie-talkie goes off and the other people we never touched the walkie-talkie?
one of their claim to fame. He was on my ghost story because of that in Travel Channel. Mount Misery Road, the one I was discussing before, they were walking through there and their walkies started going off through a live, I guess, what do you call it, like feed or whatever. So something was talking to them through the walkies. They were asking questions, but they weren't holding down the buttons and it was responding back to them. I think that is somewhere on the it might be on our website. I know that they're working on the website right now, so I don't know if it's down at the moment, but I know that it should be up somewhere. Maybe on YouTube.
No, that's cool.
Or if you look up my ghost story.
Yeah, because that show is
That one's
archived and pretty much available almost everywhere now.
I believe it was season 2, episode 3. I lied. I don't know. I made that up. I just totally pulled that out of.
I'm gonna look it up and see if it is, and be like, "You were right."
Yeah. I have it somewhere on my Prime thing. I can't look it up right now. But yeah, that was cool. And we have had that happen at other locations, but that one was pretty intense, and it lasted for I want to say probably like 5 or 6 minutes.
Wow, it's pretty
Right.
good duration.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna pivot for a second because, like, you were talking about your jokes and everything.
Sorry, I think we're awesome friends.
Remember at Fear Fest how you were doing during our Q&A? I was dropping like a couple of jokes and everyone's like looking like, "Oh no, he did not just go there."
You're great to do that presentation with. You
Well,
kept
thank you.
You kept it lively and interesting. For sure.
Yeah, and I didn't really have to do much. All the questions were all going to you. I was like, "This is nice."
Well, didn't like John Asuna, is that his name?
He was watching and
He
asked a
loved
couple
you.
questions. Yeah.
He loved you so much. He was like, hate this girl, love this guy. He's like, get her out of here.
No, he loved you too.
Yeah. He was nice.
But yeah, he was really nice. And Carl, he was like,
Oh,
yeah, you guys were buddy.
He's a nice guy. He's a very good friend to me.
Yeah, I actually went on his show last week, I think it was. And so that was a lot of fun. And yeah, but it was funny how, he's like jumps up and being the friend that he is goes, "So we're going to deviate and give you some questions now."
Yeah. He's great. He had some great questions too. They're really deep.
I think we all got really good questions, and it was kind of funny how it's like I could tell kind of, and maybe it's in my head, like when you were talking about, the post office, for example, and you're like, you kind of looked like you were frozen going, "Do I need to say more? Do I, what do I do? Is this enough?" And I was like, well, it could be because, people go postal there. And then everyone was like, started laughing. And you're like, I could see you go, "Okay, yeah, okay." And then telling more of the history of post offices, you're like, "Okay, yeah, I'm more comfortable now."
Yeah, definitely helped make that an easy experience. I'm not great with public speaking. Sometimes, again, with the attachment, I feel like starting to, especially when I talk about her a lot, I feel it's starting to come out. And then I get in my head and I get really nervous that I'm going to scare the crap out of everyone. So I'm not worried for me. I'm worried that I'm just going to freak everyone out. So that I'm like trying to pull back. It happens sometimes on some podcasts I'm doing. You'll see me and I start going, and I'm like touching my face. I'm like, oh, it's awful.
So you just are just not going to get rid of her, like send her on. You're just going to keep her.
She could go if she wants to go. She could go. I'm not holding her here. If she wants to leave, she's more than welcome to leave. if she wants to stay, if you're not hindering my life. It has good days, it has bad days. It's not glorious by any means, don't get me wrong.
Right.
It is difficult to live with, but I'm so used to it that I don't know who I would be without it. I'm working on a book now, so I touch on all of this in that book. I kind of explain where I'm coming from.
Right.
And it's just like, it's hard to understand because a lot of people might not have gone through that, but like I don't really remember who I was before that, and that wasn't something that happened over time. That is something that happened overnight. Like within 4 hours, the person I was when I got there was not who I was when I left. You know, so I don't know.
And you don't worry about like your mortal health, like your health of your body and things like that, because some people say that long-term attachments can actually start causing heart issues and
I do actually. I do. I have noticed changes. But I'm trying to maintain a healthy-ish lifestyle.
Because I've personally had an attachment, and I just know the longer, because I didn't know I didn't know what to do with it. I just knew that there was the other, and I was getting like ulcers. I wasn't able to eat as well. I mean, it actually started, and since you've had her for so long, like I worry about your health in the future with that. You're so young, and you've got a lot of life left. And
I get like I think the most I get like severe anxiety. I almost go into panic attacks. And again, that's usually if people are talking to me about her, or if they kind of like surround me and talk to me about her, and I'm like, because I think I just feel like they're trying to take it away.
So you're as attached to her as she is to you now. Y'all are one unit.
Yeah, we're basically essentially one. Yeah. We are.
I personally feel like as long as there's mutual respect, that who's to say you can't, have an attachment that's beneficial to you.
I don't know. I worry for you.
I appreciate that. No, I do appreciate that, and I appreciate where that comes from. I do have people that are kind of watching over me or guiding me. So Carl helps me a lot. I'm able to just reach out to him and explain to him like whatever, and then he kind of gives me some guidance, some advice. And there's some other people that have helped and that are willing to continue to help. So that means a lot to me as well. I've had a lot of people that were really more genuinely sweet and caring and trying to help rather than, I mean, at least to my face, rather than say, hey, you're nuts, or this didn't happen, or you're full of it. They genuinely seemed like they wanted to help. So I've been pretty lucky with that. But they've also agreed that they don't see it being harmful to me right now. In that sense, they said that, which is weird and odd, that it's able to, that we kind of can commingle and live together.
Because for me, I would worry for you for the fact that when she does get talked about, you get the anxiety so bad that your speech is impaired. So that kind of does affect you. She does affect you in a negative way. Just not
it does.
Or something like that. So
it's mostly like if I'm talking about it a lot, I think that's because I'm talking about it so she wants to come forward. I'm talking about her, so it's like I'm calling her forward. Gotcha. You know what I mean? So when that happens, and then I get into my head about like, oh God, I don't want to freak anyone out, because I've had people tell me that I scare them. Like my face changes, my eyes will change, my tone, I get a little bit more like stern, and like my posture will be more stiff. I'll tap more. Like it's creepy, and so like I don't want to freak people out, especially when I'm doing these events and I'm supposed to be talking to the public.
And you don't know,
and I scare them away.
Oh.
Nah, you'd never scare me off.
I do. I scare people away.
I used to channel, so I'm used to the signs.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you telling me, yeah. So when I feel it coming, I get little like, woo. All right, let me pull back, tone it down.
Mm-hmm.
So it does affect me, and it doesn't. It doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
But I can
And,
appreciate the concern, and I thank you for that.
yeah, and being friends, like I'm sure, like the friendship we built over those couple of days, and talking, if going and saying to you, hey, are you sure you're feeling okay, would not be like a sign of what's he up to. It'd be more of a, wait, something's out. Maybe I should do a self check.
Yeah. It was little. Had moments.
Yeah, but
Even know. I'm
I
just
feel like when we first initially got introduced was kind of one of those moments.
I know it was
And
like,
that's why, and when that happens and it gets like I get very like, and so I walk away because I'm like, I can't,
yeah.
I'm the
I
same
don't want to
way.
be, you know.
Yeah, I'm actually the same way. If someone approaches me and says something, I'm like, you know what? I'm out. I don't need to deal with this right now.
Yeah.
And then it's like they come like we did, like I could see, what happened. And so I was like, yeah, this is not what we think it is. So that's when we came and talked about it. Then it was like, okay, yeah, cleared the air,
Yeah.
everything. But yeah, and I mean, it's so easy to sit there and be like, could easily have said, oh, she walked away. We'll just let her be. And it's like, that's not what was happening. It was just a misunderstanding, and it's better to clear the air.
Are you talking
and that
code?
was
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's at Fear Fest.
Yeah, I won't mention who it was, but I introduced myself to someone, and the way that I was received was off.
Not appropriate.
Not
No,
even
it was,
not appropriate, but not on purpose.
Right.
But because I didn't know them, I don't know that. But again, I was already heightened up.
Oh.
I traveled. I'm in New Orleans. I'm open. I'm like, oof. So right away I was like, I was like, okay, no, I have to walk away because I could feel it, like, and that's one of those moments where I'm like, I gotta go. And normally I wouldn't have reacted that way. I would have just been like, oh, okay, because it made sense. Like,
right.
It was me.
Felt
it
a
was
little
me.
It's fine.
It wasn't them. It was
and
me.
everybody has a right to walk away if they feel uncomfortable. If someone's making you feel uncomfortable for any reason, whether they mean to or not, you have a right to walk away. And for your own health, you need to do that. Because I mean, a lot of what we do, it's our mental health is super important within the paranormal world, because we're taking on other things, personalities, and their feelings and their emotions and all of this. So our mental health is so important. It's a very fragile thing, because as empaths and sensitives, we absorb. If you're with a toxic human, you're going to become a toxic human because you're absorbing. So you have to surround yourself with positivity and good things that will keep your mental health safe, because we already have such things to go through. So I'm glad that you walked away if you didn't feel good, because you need to do that for your own mental health. We should never be afraid out of don't be rude, but to cordially, I'm sure you cordially walked away. And
no, I was a little rude.
Okay, well, sometimes what? Sometimes you just got to stand down. But I agree that you should stand up for yourself. But maybe
I had to
at the end of your temperament that day. So I guess
I had to own that one. I just had to. I was on, like I said, just a whole nother level, and so I knew, like, when that happened and I wasn't taking it the way that I should have been taking it, I was like, let me go. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm glad
that there was a lot of pressure going on too.
Underlying.
with a
It
lot of
always
things.
it was a
Yeah,
weird energy there. I felt sometimes, not in a bad way, but in the building itself.
yeah,
The building itself had a weird
vibe.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to go back.
I know.
I want to go back so bad. I loved it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate we got to wait a whole year.
No,
These years go fast.
They
they
do,
do. They
actually.
fly. I'm over that happening to me.
Yeah.
It
So
gets,
we're actually getting close to an hour and a half.
yeah. So
Um,
time.
apologies for running over. I just
Oh,
got lost in the conversation.
I talk too much. My bad. My apologies.
Oh no, you're totally fine. We're not overrunning anything, but I know you're an hour ahead of us, so I didn't know if you were needing to get to sleep or something. So I was pointing out the time and going, if we need to start wrapping this up, we can.
Yeah.
And you're in PA, is that right?
I'm on Long Island.
Oh, Long Island. Yeah, that makes sense.
Hence
Since
the Long Island Paranormal team.
yeah. Well, you know what?
Yeah, I was talking about PA before.
Yeah. So
I love PA.
yeah, I didn't know if you travel back and forth. Like I
Yeah.
have split residence, so I go back
We-
and forth to places.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So what's coming up for you and your attachment?
We have Warren's Phantasmacon. I think that's how you say it. Next weekend.
Oh, that's exciting.
At Mohegan Sun here in Connecticut. And then I'm doing Salem Paracon in
Oh,
November.
very cool. I want to go to that. I just found out about it. It's too late for me to go this year, but
No,
that looks exciting. I'll go next year for sure. For sure.
it should be fun. So I'm really excited about that. And then I'm supposed to be an attraction at a haunted house.
Dude, what?
They wanted me, the Queen of Darkness, to do
Oh, gotcha.
give people their misfortunes.
Yeah.
Oh, that
So
could
are
be
you
fun for you.
what is it, vampirus? Is that what a female
Vampirus?
vampire is? Is that
I don't
Vampirus?
know.
do you do that?
Me.
Like, is that part of like some of your stuff? You have that, or you just the psychic medium? Because the Vaughn name, usually is
the Von
yeah.
Dinkenstein?
Yeah.
Okay, so that happened because Facebook wouldn't let me be Velma Dinkley.
Oh.
And so I went fancy with it, and I did that because I didn't want a lot of people to know my name because I felt crazy at the time.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And then I did the book and I put my name on it, like, so duh. So that's why I have the two, but so many people know me for Velma, so I feel weird changing.
Yeah, it's good to know. That way they can find you on all the platforms with your other name too. So
yeah.
I get it. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And I've been plugging it. Don't miss out on your copy of this really cool book.
Pretty cover.
Thanks. It's me. I love this book. I like poems. If you like dark poetry, if you want to be sad.
I don't know. I don't know that I've read any really. Of course, I haven't gotten to the middle yet, but I haven't gotten too many sad ones yet.
I have to say that most of them, not all of them, but most of them we realized read both ways. So it makes sense both ways, but they'll have a different meaning. So but not all of them.
Right.
I think at least every one of them, but maybe like 3 in this.
I got to go back and reread some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. That almost makes me wonder, like, that's very spiritual to do that. Like,
I didn't even realize that. I was sitting at one of my conventions, and I was just going through. Sometimes I like to just like go through it, and I happened to just come up the page with it because I remember something somebody said a while ago, and It was weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've only heard of one other. I wish I could, something's blocking me from remembering everything about it. But I met a man one time that wrote a book, and you could read his book front or back. So if you started at the last word on the last page, you could read an entire book that way. And then you could also, and he actually got ill from his attachment. And I think that's why and his attachment helped him write the book. He would joke about how he wrote half and the spirit wrote half.
That's what I say.
But I cannot remember his name to save my life. And I met him when I was very young in California when I lived out there. And everyone would laugh at him because they're like, you're a mad genius because you write a book that can go, it's two different books. They're just, one, the first word is the last and so on. And I just cannot, I had his name until I went to talk about it. I haven't brought that up in, oh my God, 20 plus years.
Wow.
Like I'm 40, I'm almost 47. I was 16 then. So it's crazy. Wow. Almost 30. Wow. 30 years. Jesus. Am I that old?
No.
Yeah. 5 grandkids. I'm that old.
Aw, good for you.
Thank
5.
you. I made them beautiful.
So look up A Dream Within a Scream, a collection of automatic writings from a spirit attachment. And we're going to put up the website here.
There you go.
Thank you.
That's your Facebook also links to that, doesn't it? A Dream Within a Scream, or is that your because I went to that.
Yeah, on my Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, so all her social media is in the description. So you can find her if you have questions for her. But yeah, so thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. It was nice meeting you.
It was lovely meeting you too. I did have so much fun.
Oh yeah.
We had so much fun.
Oh yeah. It was funny because we even were talking about podcast shows for like an afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a lot of fun with you that weekend. Thank you.
Yeah. So did the show live up to the reputation I built up?
Yes. I loved it.
Sweet.
What did I make you share with me? What was that food? It was good.
Oh, it was the dirty rice.
Yeah. I want that right now.
Dirty rice.
Anyway.
That does sound good, actually.
Okay. Well, we don't need to all be eating after 5 o'clock, so.
Yeah, I need to go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for being.
Thank you for coming on.
We love you.
Bye.
You guys be safe too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so before I let everybody go, a little housekeeping. So tomorrow afternoon at, I believe it's 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., I'll be doing a 2-hour show with Renee Barnett and Heather Besser. And we'll be doing this for the eTalk.tv network that we are airing on. And it's their Halloween marathon. And our episode will be on death, grieving, and the afterlife. So come join us for that one. And then we will be back on Tuesday night with our regularly scheduled shows. And that will be Lisa Herrera and Vera Lopez Rincon.
Looking forward to it.
So we have some great episodes coming up. So make sure you stay attached to our stay what's the word I'm looking for?
Connected to our show.
Connected and following our show. Thank you. And the show page, because that's where they all get listed. So for all of you out there in the world, wherever you are, from our show to yours, actually, before I go there, I forgot to do one important thing, and that is to thank our audience. who came in. We appreciate you guys coming in and asking such great questions. So, Jenny and Anthony, thank you so much. And for those of you who watched, thank you for watching us live and joining us on this journey. So, now, since I apparently fumbling things up, I'm going to let Michelle send us out.
No, you're going to send us out. You're the best. You're doing fine.
Okay.
I'll just
So,
put the end and tell everybody goodbye. Goodbye from Texas. Thanks for showing up.
hey, that sounded good. We'll go with that one.
All right. Good night,
All
guys.
right. Good night.
You have just listened to the energy that surrounds us with your host, Michael Kopf. Be sure to tune in next week for our next episode.